Hey guys, I'm Tim Kotzman here with Dan Hillery. Dan, what are some of the specifics about Microstrategy's convertible bonds and why they are so attractive to fixed income investors?
Sure. Yeah. MicroStrategy's convertible bonds are really the star player of their new Bitcoin yield strategy. And this is one of the ways in which they increase Bitcoin per share, which is their new key performance metric. And so a convertible bond is a fixed income product that an investor will purchase from MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy issues it to the investor. And over the duration of the bond, a coupon is paid back to the investor. And then upon expiration, the principal is paid back in full. Now, these convertible bonds have the option to be converted based on very specific criterion. And what's so attractive about this conversion option is for a stock like MicroStrategy that's performed so well, they're very, very valuable for these investors who are expecting pretty much sub 10% annualized returns on a lot of these corporate bonds. These MicroStrategy bonds have performed in excess of 30%, depending on how they're hedged. Now, there's a couple clauses that are very important, which gives MicroStrategy optionality with regards to these convertible bonds. Investors have a put option on these bonds. So about a year before the expiration date, the bonds become convertible. So the investors can convert those bonds into shares. 2 years before the expiration date, the investors have this put option, which is a non-contingent right to have their principal returned to them and all the interest payments returned to them. So it's essentially like a stop loss for them. If the MicroStrategy is not performing, they don't want to convert, they can get their capital back and move on to the next thing. Then there's a conditional conversion clause. And the conditional conversion clause is this date after which, if certain conditions are met, these notes can be converted either by MicroStrategy or by the investors, the bondholders. And all of these dates have passed, the most recent being September 2024 for the 2031 convertible notes. And under this clause, if MicroStrategy's Class A shares trade at 130% of the conversion price for these convertible bonds for 20 days out of a continuous 30-day period ending on the last day of a quarter, then the note holders can convert these bonds early. They can convert into shares or request principal back. And there's another conditional clause which says that if MicroStrategy's Class A shares are trading at a certain value and the value of these convertible bonds fall below 98% of the fair value of the notes based on the MicroStrategy shares. What that means is, if you're familiar with call options, right? If the price of the bonds falls below 98% of the intrinsic value of the convertible call option, then the investors can convert early. It's essentially like a stop loss if the sentiment is very poor regarding these convertible notes. And then the final clause is that MicroStrategy can just call for conversion after this conditional date at any time. So what's so interesting about these convertible bonds is that MicroStrategy has a ton of optionality with regards to when they convert, how they bring these bonds up for redemption, and then how they roll out this convertible debt farther into the future so they can increase their Bitcoin per share. And then the final point I want to make on these convertible bonds is why they're advantageous for MicroStrategy. And the reason they're advantageous for MicroStrategy is because they're essentially getting capital at 30-ish% above their share price. So if they were to go sell shares into the open market, they'd be selling at a premium to their underlying Bitcoin holdings, which is accretive. In the case of convertible bonds, they're able to sell at a premium to their premium via the conversion price. And this is hugely advantageous, although they do have to pay the interest payments on the debt. But that's not a big concern, simply because they have plenty of cash that they can use to pay off that interest.